Okay, this is a demonstration of the pytest plugin for Mozilla's WebQA team. Prior to the plugin, we were using conftest.py to add command line options to ease launching and shutting down of Selenium server, as well as a couple of other features such as using credentials from an external YAML file. The problem with this is we had a lot of duplicate code in each of our projects, and if we added something useful to one of them, it took a while for it to get through to some of the other projects. So by creating a plugin that all of the plugins use as a requirement, we were able to quickly distribute new features. The source code for the plugin is available at GitHub. It's distributed on PyPy, and it can be installed using pip install pytest-mozwebqa. The README file on GitHub shows you how to use it. The various command line options allow you to specify a WebQA report path, which will give you a custom HTML report. Various Selenium related options, such as the base URL of the application under test. The API you're using, so this supports both WebDriver and Selenium RC APIs. And details for where the Selenium server is running. There's also the option to not use the server component and to launch the browser directly. This is something that came with WebDriver in Selenium 2. We also have a timeout, which is typically used for page loads and similar waiting conditions within Selenium. And another option, which is capture network, which captures the network traffic. This is predominantly in Selenium RC at this point. We also have credentials options. This allows you to specify a YAML file that stores credentials for logging into the website. By keeping these as separate files means we can share our public test repositories but keep the username and password separate. There's a source labs option, which allows you to specify source labs credentials, and if specified, it will run your tests in the cloud using source labs service. Another option is the configuration settings. You can specify a mozwebqa.cfg file so that you don't have to specify everything on the command line. This will typically be checked into the test repository for the project. It includes things like the base URL, the API, and any tags. The tags are used in combination with source labs. There are a couple of examples here. You can run your test using py.test, specifying a base URL, the API, and the browser. That's probably the simplest example. There are more examples showing you various different ways of launching the Selenium server and also for running with source labs. We're using this now in our Jenkins instance for WebQA, and I can show you an example of a HTML report that this generates. This project has some failures. If we look at the report, we can see here are the command line options that we used to launch the tests. Here's a summary here: 82 of the tests passed, 13 of them failed, and we had 2 errors, 5 expected failures and 4 unexpected passes. For an error or failure, we'll see the details here next to the test, and if possible, a screenshot will be displayed on the right. As you can see with this failure, a screenshot's included. If you click the screenshot, you can see it in full size. There's also a link to the HTML, which can be useful for diagnosing problems. If the test was run in Source Labs, we also have the additional feature of the Source Labs video and the Source Labs job details. So that's the pytest-mozwebqa plugin. There are still a couple of issues and features to resolve. Hopefully I'll be releasing the first stable version soon.